Hi everyone, and welcome back to another video. In this video, we're going to learn how to design a PCB. If you are a beginner who doesn't know anything about PCBs or designing PCBs, this video is for you. So, PCBs stands for printed circuit board. Now, printed circuit board is pretty much any kind of circuit board that you can find in many electronic appliances, such as remote control cars, phones, smartphones, and even the computer that I'm recording this video on. And we're going to learn how to design a very basic one. Like, for example, if you know what Arduino is, and you're learning how to use Arduino, Arduino is an example of a printed circuit board. Like, you can even find the EAGLE file for the Arduino. And in this video, we are going to be using this kind of software called EAGLE CAD. EAGLE CAD stands for Easy Applianceable Graphical Layout Editor. And that is used for making things like circuit boards, designs, and many things. But we're going to be using it to design printed circuit boards. So let's get started by downloading Google off the web. Now it's downloaded off Google, but it's owned by Autodesk. So we want to search up just EAGLE CAD, and we should be able to find it. It's this first one. It's supposed to be an ad, and then we want to download it for free. We're going to download it for Mac because I'm on Mac, but if you're like on Windows or Linux, then you can click on your appropriate download. This should take very little time. So we're going to click on it, and then it opens up this installer right here. So what we want to do is just press continue, and I'm pretty sure you don't have to read the license, but if you're that kind of person who likes to read the licenses and make sure that you don't violate anything, then you can go ahead and click on this and read it. But I'm just going to press continue and agree, and then press install. Now you're going to need an administrator's password and username. So I'm going to type in mine, and then it should take very little time to install this. Now we're going to press close, and we want to move this to the trash just to make sure that we can have some free space. Then we're going to close Chrome, and then we can find in the applications folder that, let's see, so we're going to go to applications right here, and it's EAGLE 8.3.2, this folder right here. Now this is the application that we're looking for. So if you're looking for something like simplicity, then you can just drag it to the dock, but I prefer not to do that. I prefer to do it where you just open it up with Spotlight Search, and you can just find it. And depending on the time, it should be the first one or the second one. So we're going to press enter, and then it should open up. It's going to ask you to sign into your Autodesk account. And Autodesk account is pretty easy to register. You just go to autodesk.com and then click on sign in, and then don't have an account and register an account. I'll walk you through that right now. So we're gonna go to autodesk.com, and we want to click on sign in, and then Autodesk account, and create account. So you can create your account through this, but I have already created one. So I'm going to use my email and my password. And I'm going to sign in. And when you sign in, it should show this screen. What we're going to do is we're going to create a new file because we want to create a board. And in order to create a board, we have to create a new file. So we're going to go to File, New, and then Schematic. The base for almost all PCBs is a schematic. And just for you to have an easier time to look at this, we're going to full screen this. Okay. So let's go through a quick tour of this place. So that's just to open a file, that's to save a file, and that's if you want to print a file. That's for the CAM processor, which later we will use. And then that's for switching between the board and the schematic. That's a library manager, that's the script, and then this is a bunch of zoom buttons that we most likely will not use unless you are like stuck. And then this is undo and redo. Then this is stop and then go. And then many other buttons. We will probably not use these. And then down this line. So that's a group. That's to mirror. That's to copy. That's to delete. That's to add a design block. That's to add a pin swap. That's gate swap. That's name. That's smash. That's split. That's invoke. That's line, circle, etc., etc. We will only be using a few of these when we're designing our board. And there's one thing that we have to install in order to start creating our LED board, which is what we are going to create today. So let's open up the web browser. And this is this thing called the Adafruit EAGLE library. It contains a lot of components that are very vital to us. So we're going to just search up Adafruit EAGLE library. And then it's a third link to the GitHub page. And you want to go to the GitHub page and click on clone or download. And then you want to download zip. And it should download a zip file right there. And then you want to open up that folder and you see that LBR file. That's the one we're going to be using. But don't open up this file because we're going to import it through EAGLE. So we're going to open up our window and then you're going to click on this button, which is to open the library manager. We want to click on that. And then if we click on browse, then we can go to the downloads, which is where the LBR file is, and then open up the folder, and then you want to open up this. So now it should be imported. Now to import those components, we have to click on this button, which is to add like symbols or any other things like LEDs, which is where you're going to add. So you find that Adafruit thing right there, and then you want to open it up. We want to scroll down to find the LED part. So LED's right there. And we want to use the 5mm LED. So we're going to press OK and then place it down. Now the thing that is about these LEDs is that you see that they have these arrows pointing this way, and then they have two sides. If you're not sure which one is a positive and which one's a negative, I'll tell you now. So that's a positive, the part that's not facing the arrows. And the negative is a part that's closer to the arrows. So now we're going to drag on to a pin header, which will help us with the power, because this is pretty much an LED board where you can connect power and then the LED will turn on. So we'll find that, and it's this folder called pinhead. And we want to find the second one, which is the 1x2 pin header. And you want to just do the normal one, not the 91. So press OK and place it down. And then you're going to press escape and then press cancel on that page. Now we want to save it. So just for simplicity, I'm going to save it to the desktop and call it LED board. There we go. And then the next step is to wire these up. Now this is relatively simple. We use the line tool, and we want to be on the layer that is called nets. And then you can leave the rest to default. So we're going to start from that line by clicking, and then you can draw a line. Now that's out on the wrong layer, so we have to change it back to the right one. There we go. And to make sure to know that it's on the right layer, the line just has to be green. That's how you can tell. Now you want to draw a line to the port and then press click again. And then press escape. Otherwise it will think that you want to still keep on drawing lines. Then we'll layer up the other side. And then if you don't tap escape, this is what will happen. So we're going to tap escape and then it disappears. Now we're going to save it. So this is a schematic part of this board, and the next step is to do the board. So what we're going to do is we're going to tap on this schematic to board button, and we don't have one, so we want to create one from the schematic. And you see that the screen it leads to is this one. So we're going to click on the group button, which we already have selected, and then we're gonna select these two parts. And then we wanna click on the move tool, and then right click one of those parts. And we wanna click on the move group menu, and then move them both into the board. Now the next step is to make this board smaller. You can do this by selecting the sides of the board, and then just directly dragging them in. So we've done that, and then we want to drag in this side. That's done. So this should be a relatively good size for our board. And then you want to do something else, which is changing the grid of this board. So if we just close this for now, it's right now set at 50 millimeters. So we want to change it to about 1 or 5, anything like that, just to make sure that we can move stuff around freely. Okay, now we want to route these two parts together, which should be very simple because all you have to do is click on this tool, which is the routing tool, not the wire tool, but the routing tool. And then you want to select the top layer, and then click on this part, and then just directly draw a line from there to there. And the thing about these routes is that they cannot intersect if they are not on the same layer. Okay, now we'll draw the other one. There we go, and that is done. So we're pretty much done with the second step, which is the board, but there's one more step to the board, which is to draw a polygon around this. Now it's not very useful to draw a polygon around this to make all the grounds work. The only reason why we're doing this is because in the future, when you do normal boards, it's gonna be a lot more helpful to you, because otherwise then you're gonna have to wire up every single wire. But with this, you don't have to. And we're gonna set this to the wire band style 0, which is a right angle. And then we want to be on the top layer. Just draw a line. We can zoom in a little bit to the very tip. There we go. And we're just gonna draw up a teeny bit, and then draw all the way down there. And we can zoom in a lot, so we can make sure that all our measurements are very accurate. And then just draw the line all the way back. And there we go. That is our polygon. Okay, then we have to draw the bottom one. So we just switch the layer to the bottom layer, and then we go back to our original spot, and then just draw the exact same line. And we selected the wrong layer on accident, so we have to select the correct layer. And again, we can zoom in to make sure that we've got the line with the correct measurements, and then we can zoom out and zoom into the same place that we did last time, and then just zoom in down there. And then zoom in over here. And our second polygon is done. The next step is to name these polygons to ground. So we want to click on the name tool right here, and then left click the polygon. Now you see the blue polygon comes out. So we want to name the blue polygon first, and we name it to GND, and we change the name of this polygon. And then we want to name the other one. And you notice that the blue one comes up again. And to fix this, we just right click, and then it switches to the other polygon. And then we can left click again, and then thus being able to name this. Okay, so we've named that. Now, the final step to creating this board is clicking on this button, which is called the rat's nest. So if you click on this, then we seem to have an error over here. So what we want to do is we want to check on this. We want to check on the polygon to make sure that we don't have any error. So that's ground. That should be good. And then we want to click on the other one. and just click on rat's nest again. Should be that we just messed up this polygon, which should be an easy fix because sometimes this will happen. So the fix to this is we want to rip up polygon and then just delete both of the polygons to make sure that we don't have an error. So I think it's a problem with the red polygon, so we're gonna delete the red one. Okay, there we go. And now the red one should be gone, and we have to redo the red one over again. This problem happens rarely, but it does happen. So again, we're going to go to 0, 0. Oops, excuse me. And then we want to go up here, make sure we've got the right measurement, and then go all the way to here, and then go all the way down, and then go all the way to here. There we go. And now we have to name that polygon again. Ground. Then we should be able to rat's nest now. Now we have no problem. And that's our final board. And now if you want to order this board, what we can do is we want to download this thing from Seed Studio, which makes PCBs, and that's usually where I order my PCBs from. So in order to create these boards, we have to go to seedstudio.com, and then they do stuff like PCBs, PCB assembly. They do a lot of tool stuff that you can do, that like 3D printing. They do their own products, things like that. So we want to go to Fusion, and then they do this. Their PCB service is called Fusion, and then you can add your Gerber file here. But Gerber files are in the .zip format, and we have a .board format, which is not accepted. So we are going to open up the seed generator. So you just want to search up seed Gerber generator to layer, and then click on the second link. And then go all the way down to the bottom, and you want to click on the second layer, 2-layer board. That should download a zip file for you. So now we're going to open up that zip file, and then we should get this CAM file right here. What we want to do with this is we want to go to EAGLE, or first go to Finder, and then copy that file, and then go to Applications, find EAGLE folder, and then we want to put it into the CAM file folder. And there we go. Now we can go back to EAGLE, and then go back to the board. Now, as we said before, we're going to be using this. So we want to click on that button, and that leads us to this window. Now, what we do is we go to File, Open, Job. And then we want to open up the job that we just had, and that we just imported into that folder. And we're going to press Open, and then press Process Job, which is the most simple part. And then they're asking us to save it, so we're gonna save it, and then it processes a job for us. Now, what we're gonna do is we are going to go back to Finder, and we go to the desktop. Now we find out that all these Gerber files are right here. So we want to create a folder by selecting all the Gerber files, and then selecting New Folder with Selection. And then there's one more file, which is a .text file, which it also generated, which has to be in that folder too. And we go back to the Fusion PCB part, and it only accepts zip files. So what we do is that we compress this file. So we go to right click, and then we compress new folders with items, and then that is our zip file, and that is our Gerber files. So what we can do is we can go back to here and just drag them here. So we're going to add your Gerber file, go to desktop, and then click on new folders with items. and that's uploading. And a neat thing about this is you can check if there's any problems by clicking on this Gerber viewer. So it takes some time to load. You don't have to do this every time, but it's just to make sure that your board is good. So that seems like something similar to what we did. So we're going to go back to here, and then we can leave everything like it is. But if you're going to change something like the number of boards you want, like you can even order 8,000, which I find is pretty funny. And then you can change many things such as different designs, thickness, color, and many other things. Some things will change the price of this, but we're going to leave it all like it is because there's really nothing to change for us. We're just designing a very basic board. So we're going to press add to cart and confirm, and it's added to our cart. So now it's in, and now you can go to the cart and then just check out. So anyway guys, thank you guys for watching this video. In this video, as a summary, we have covered how to create a board, how to design the schematic, how to design the board, and how to buy the board with the Gerber file. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if there are any suggestions for more videos, you can always email me or you can post a comment below. Now, all the links that we used in the are in the description, such as the Adafruit EAGLE library, the EAGLE download link, and also the seed generator link. I'll post this down in the description. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.